Okay, this question has got mixed equations. They've all got e's and logs in them. Okay, part B is the interesting one. Very quickly, part A. All right, the thing here is there's an e, and I need to make that go away by using a log. But because it's 3e to the power of something equals something, okay, the first thing I have to do is divide by something to get e to the power of the brackets equals something on this side. And then, now I've got the e on its own, I can use log of both sides. So this will just be the thing that was in the power equals log of the other side. This will have an x in it, so I'll still need to do a little bit more rearranging. I can leave this as a log. I've got to leave answers in exact form. So that means they should be left with e's and logs in them. Okay, part B, the interesting one. This is e to the 2x term, an e to the x term, and a number term. So if I've got an equation with an e to the 2x term, and an e to the x term, and a number term, I want to get equals naught on this side, and you could have anything here, here, and here. Okay? But the idea of these is they can be turned into quadratic equations. So I can turn this, this, and this into different terms, and it's still going to equal naught. And the key one is this middle one. This is going to be, if I use a new letter t, this is going to be something times t. And this is still going to be a number. So if I let e to the x, I'm using the letter t to mean e to the x, then what I need to do is think about what t squared would equal. And if I've worked out what t squared will equal, then it turns out that this term here is the one that turns into a t squared term. You've still got numbers here, here, and here. You then solve your quadratic. Okay. And now you can do that by factorizing. You can use your calculator if you know how to. Make sure you get it right, whatever you do. And you're going to get two answers for t, because it's a quadratic equation. It has potentially two answers. And then, of course, you can use the fact that t was e to the x. So e to the x could equal your first t value, or e to the x could equal your second t value. Now, if either of these values is 0 or negative, okay, when you try and use a log, a ln, to get rid of the e, you'll find that you get an error. That's because e to the x can't equal 0 or a negative value. It doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. It just means it may not be a valid solution. Okay, so that's part B. Okay, part C, just very briefly, get rid of the 3 first by doing a division, and then get rid of the ln by eing both sides. So you're going to have ln of the bracket equals a number, and on the next line, you're going to have the bracket equals e to a number. Okay, and then a bit more tidying up will give you what x equals. On this one, you're ready to go. It's just a ln on its own. You can get rid of the ln using an e to get what x squared equals. It's going to be e to the power of something. But then you've got to remember to square root it, okay? And when you square root, don't forget the plus or minus. And when you're square rooting something that is e to a power, if I had e to the power of something, I'll make something up, e to the power of 10, then in order to express that nicely, this is exact, I suppose, but to express that nicely, if I think of the square rooting as being a power of a half, I can use rules of powers here. So a power of a half applied to a e to the power of 10, multiply the powers, it's e to the power of 5. So you can tidy up your solution. Don't forget you'll have a plus or minus here, so plus or minus, plus or minus. So that should deal with that question. Hope that helps.